Welcome back. We're reading the Bible. We are on Exodus 8, verse 12. Accordingly, Moses and Aaron went out from Pharaoh, and Moses cried out to Jehovah because of the frogs that he had put upon Pharaoh. Then Jehovah did according to Moses' word, and the frogs began to die off from the houses, the courtyards, and the fields, and they went piling them up, heaps upon heaps, and then the land began to stink. Well, there's a lot of dead frogs, so yeah. When Pharaoh got to see that relief had taken place, he made his heart unresponsive, and he did not listen to them, just as Jehovah had spoken. Now, a lot of people have pointed out, why would God purposely make Pharaoh's heart harden? Why wouldn't he make him soften so he could free the people? I'm not sure. I don't know the answer to that. We all could speculate why, but I don't know why. Jehovah now said to Moses, "Say to Aaron, stretch your rod out and strike the dust of the earth, and it must become gnats in all the land of Egypt." So here it says gnats. What we call gnats in English today are just these tiny little gnats. They go up your nose a lot when you walk through them. But others say it was supposed to be locusts. So let's see. All right. Out and strike the dust of the earth, and it must become gnats in all the land of Egypt. And they proceeded to do this. So Aaron stretched out his hand with his rod and struck the dust of the earth, and the gnats came to be on man and beast. All the dust of the earth became gnats in all the land of Egypt. And the magic practicing priests tried to do the same by their secret arts, in order to bring forth gnats, but they were unable, and the gnats came to be on man and beast. Hence the magic practicing priests said to Pharaoh, "It is the finger of God." But Pharaoh's heart continued to be obstinate, and he did not listen to them, just as Jehovah had listened. Then Jehovah said to Moses, "Get up early in the morning and take a position in front of Pharaoh. Look, he is coming out to water, and you must say to him, 'This is what Jehovah has said. Send my people away that they may serve me.' But if you are not sending my people away, here I am sending upon you and your servants and your people, and into your house the gadfly." Okay, now we got the gadfly. "And the houses of Egypt will simply be full of the gadfly, and also the ground upon which they are. And on that day I shall certainly make the land of Goshen up, upon which my people are standing distinct, that no gadfly may exist there, in order that they may know that I am Jehovah in the midst of the earth. And I shall indeed set a demarcation between my people and your people. Tomorrow this sign will take place." And Jehovah proceeded to do so, and heavy swarms of gadflies began to invade the house of Pharaoh, and the houses of his servants, and all the land of Egypt. And the land came to ruin as a result of the gadflies. Finally, Pharaoh called Moses and Aaron and said, "Go sacrifice to your God in the land." But Moses said, "It is not admissible to do so, because we would sacrifice to Jehovah our God a thing detestable to the Egyptians. Suppose we would sacrifice a thing detestable to Egyptians before their eyes, would they not stone us? We shall go a journey of 3 days in the wilderness, and we shall definitely sacrifice to Jehovah our God, just as he has said to us." Into the wilderness. Pharaoh now said, I shall send you away, and you will indeed sacrifice to Jehovah your God in the wilderness. Only do not make it quite so far away that you are going. Make entreaty in my behalf." Then Moses said, "Here I am going forth from you, and I shall indeed make entreaty to Jehovah, and the gadflies will certainly turn away from Pharaoh, his servants, and his people tomorrow. Only let not Pharaoh trifle again in not sending the people away to sacrifice to Jehovah." After that Moses went out from Pharaoh and made entreaty to Jehovah. So Jehovah did according to Moses' word, and the gadflies turned away from Pharaoh, his servants and his people. Not one was left. However, Pharaoh made his heart unresponsive this time also, and did not send the people away. Okay, in this part, Pharaoh made his heart hard himself. Okay, now we're on I said Genesis. Exodus. Exodus 9. Consequently, Jehovah said to Moses, "Go into Pharaoh, and you must state to him, 'This is what Jehovah the God of the Hebrews has said. Send my people away, that they may serve me.' But if you continue refusing to send them away, and you are still keeping hold of them, look, Jehovah's hand is coming upon your livestock that is in the field. On the horses, the asses, the camels, the herd, and the flock there will be a very heavy pestilence. And Jehovah will certainly make a distinction between the livestock of Israel and the livestock of Egypt, and not a thing of all that belongs to the sons of Israel will die." Well, that's interesting. Like, he's gonna smite. Moreover, Jehovah set an appointed time, saying, "Tomorrow Jehovah will do this thing in the land." Accordingly, Jehovah did this on the next day, and all sorts of livestock of Egypt began to die. But not one of the livestock of the sons of Israel died. Then Pharaoh sent, and look, not so much as one of Israel's livestock had died. Nevertheless, Pharaoh's heart continued to be unresponsive, and he did not send the people away. After that, Jehovah said to Moses and Aaron, "Take for yourselves both hands full of soot from a kiln, and Moses must toss it toward the heavens in Pharaoh's sight, and it must become a powder upon all the land of Egypt. And it must become boils, breaks out with blisters." Ooh, that's terrible. "And beast in all the land of Egypt." So the animals too, fam. The people and the animals got the boils and the blisters. Blisters are, they hurt so bad. Oh, they hurt so bad. Boils just look ugly, right? But blisters actually hurt. So they took the soot of a kiln and stood before Pharaoh, and Moses tossed it toward the heavens, and it became boils with blisters, breaking out on a man and beast. And the magic practicing priests were unable to stand before Moses as a result of the boils, because the boils had developed on the magic practicing priests and on all the Egyptians. But Jehovah let Pharaoh his heart become obstinate, and he did not listen to them, just as Jehovah had stated to Moses. Then Jehovah said to Moses, "Get up early in the morning and take a position in front of Pharaoh, and you must say to him, 'This is what Jehovah the God of the Hebrews has said. Send my people away, that they may serve me. For at this time I am sending all my blows against your heart and upon your servants and your people, to the end that you may know that there is none like me in the earth.'" Now notice this, right? Upon your heart, your servants, and your people. So the leader, right, Pharaoh, he will feel the pain, but his people will also feel the pain. That should tell us, a lot about our leaders today, how they try to hide from the consequences of their actions. And only the people feel it. Tells you a lot. "For by now I could have thrust my hand out of that I might strike you and your people with pestilence, and that you might be effaced from the earth. But in fact, for this cause I have kept you in existence, for the sake of showing you my power, and in order to have my name declared in all the earth. Are you still behaving hotly against my people in not sending them away? Here I am causing it to rain down tomorrow about this time a very heavy hail, like that of which has never occurred in Egypt from the day it was founded until now." Heavy hail. "And now bring all your livestock and all that is yours in the field under shelter. As for any man and beast that will be found in the field and not gathered into the house, the hail will have to come down upon them, and they will have to die." And there are some videos today, even of big giant hail balls coming down, damaging cars really badly, so it's not too abstract to think that something like this could ever happen. "Anyone who feared Jehovah's word among Pharaoh's servants caused his own servants and his livestock to flee into the houses. But whoever did not set his heart to have any regard for Jehovah's word left his servants and his livestock in the field. Jehovah now said to Moses, 'Stretch out your hand toward the heavens, that hail may come on all the land of Egypt. upon man and beast and all vegetation of the field in the land of Egypt. Okay, even the vegetation, fam. It's going to destroy the plants. So Moses stretched out his rod toward the heavens, and Jehovah gave thunders and hail, and fire would run down to the earth. And Jehovah kept making it rain down hail upon the land of Egypt. Thus there came hail, and fire quivering among the hail. It was very heavy, so that there had not occurred any like it in all the land of Egypt from time to time. It became a nation. And the hail went striking at all the land of Egypt. The hail struck everything that was in the field, from man to beast, and all sorts of vegetation of the field, and it shattered all sorts of trees of the field. Only in the land of Goshen, where the sons of Israel were there, occurred no hail. Eventually Pharaoh sent and called Moses and Aaron, and said to them, I have sinned this time. Jehovah is righteous, and I, my people, are in the wrong. Entreat Jehovah that this may be enough of the occurring of God's thunders and hail. Then I am willing to send you away, and you will not stay any longer. So Moses said to him, As I go out of the city, I shall spread my hands up to Jehovah. The thunders will stop, and the hail will not continue any longer, in order that you may know that the earth belongs to Jehovah. As for you and your servants, I know already that you will not even then show fear because of Jehovah God. As it was, the flax and the barley had been struck, because the barley was in the ear and the flax had flower buds. But the wheat and spelt had not been struck, because they were seasonally late. Moses now went out of the city from Pharaoh and spread his hands up to Jehovah, and the thunders and the hail began to stop, and rain did not pour down on earth. You know what's interesting? If Pharaoh saw Moses raising his hands up, I'm very surprised Pharaoh didn't have Moses killed. I'm very curious. Why didn't Pharaoh think of that? Obviously, God would have protected Moses. But strategically, militarily, why didn't they strike him down? They're having dialogue. It's very interesting. When Pharaoh got to see that the rain and the hail and the thunders had stopped, he went sinning against and making his heart unresponsive, he as well as his servants. And Pharaoh's heart continued obstinate, and he did not send the sons of Israel away, just as Jehovah had stated by means of Moses. You know, also, the people of Egypt could see Moses doing that. Some of them didn't believe in the message that Moses was bringing. So it's surprising that these people didn't riot and take him out. Think about it. People rioted and hated Jesus, right? And he did not bring plagues like Moses. Yet they were cheering when he was being crucified, right? So it's really interesting that didn't happen to Moses, because if the people were seeing this guy is bringing all these problems, they could have thought he was bewitched. They could have thought something, right? I think that's a interesting thing to think about. Then Exodus 10. Then Jehovah said to Moses, Go into Pharaoh, because I have let his heart and the hearts of his servants become unresponsive. Again, why would you want to, if no one can go against the will of God, why would God make Pharaoh's heart hard? I've always wondered about that. Because isn't the whole point to let the people go? Doesn't God want that without there being bloodshed? Or is it just to demonstrate the power for future generations? I wonder. In order that I may set these signs of mine right before him, and in order that you may declare in the ears of your sons and your sons how severely I have dealt with Egypt and my signs that I have established among them. Okay, I think that kind of answers my question then. And you will certainly know that I am Jehovah. So the Pharaoh, you can kind of feel pity for him at the same time. He did something wrong, right? But maybe if his heart was not hardened, he would have let them go. But he needed his heart to be hardened so that the demonstrations of the power of God could be made manifest. So Moses and Aaron went in to Pharaoh and said to him, This is what Jehovah, the God of the Hebrews, has said. How long must you refuse to submit yourself to me? Send my people away that they may serve me. For if you continue refusing to send my people away, here I am bringing locusts. Ah, see? Locusts within your boundaries tomorrow. So we had the gadfly, the gnat, and the now talking about locusts. So this is named 3 different types of bugs. 3 types of bugs they mentioned. And they will actually cover the visible surface of the earth, and it will not be possible to see the earth. And they will simply eat up the rest of what has escaped and has been left to you people by the hail. And they will certainly eat every sprouting tree of yours out of the field. Now today they've invented pesticides to try to avoid that. However, the pesticide is causing cancer and killing the bees. Sometimes you gotta wonder if the elites have ever read this story in the Bible, this scene, right? This event, however you want to classify it. And if you notice, it's like how Pharaoh treated his people was wrong. There was rampant poverty, despair. They were not doing what was good. And God decided he was going to plague that empire, right? Eat it away, collapse it. Today, you can see decay in all countries, and how the leaders still just chase money and fame, and they ignore what they're supposed to. And then the people don't rise up and change that either because they're also distracted. So everyone's just sitting in their own pig pen, not really doing much. And then when they finally do decide to do something, it's just a violent revolution with no plan, no aim. And they just get another bad leader in, and it continues the same. You really gotta wonder, because Moses is bringing in a whole new system. It's also a theological revolution, but it is also a political revolution. He's changing the empire, right? He's shifting migrations of people. He's changing the way that the earth is going to be mapped out for the future. So it's a big deal here. And your houses and the houses of all your servants and the houses of all Egypt will be filled to an extent that your fathers and your fathers' fathers have not seen it from the day of their existing upon the ground until this day. Now, another thing I'm thinking about, when you read how badly the slaves want to leave Egypt, imagine having a modern day conservative standing over there and saying, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, just work harder. You're lazy. It's your fault that you're poor. It's your fault this, right? Imagine. They'd be like, Pharaoh, he just took advantage of the free market. Pharaoh, he's just a great capitalist. But at the same time, there's been plenty of brutal communist leaders as well. So it just goes to show you that humans are messy in their political systems of government. This is crazy. Egypt will be filled with an extent that your fathers and your fathers' fathers have not seen it from the day of their existing upon the ground until this day. With that he turned and went out from Pharaoh. After that Pharaoh's servants said to him, how long will this man prove to be as a snare to us? Ah, yeah, see? At least they're starting to notice, right? Send the men away that they may serve Jehovah their God. Do not yet know that Egypt has perished? So Moses and Aaron were brought back to Pharaoh, and he said to them, go serve Jehovah your God. Who in particular are the ones going? Asking questions. Okay, I'm going to cut it off here. That way it doesn't freeze. We're at a good chunky minute here. Alright, fam. Let me know what you think.